Alright, so I'm going to be taking off the front wheel. So here you need a 14mm on the side. 14, and the other side, the nut is a 19mm. So I've got my 19mm and my 14. You want to spin the nut side, not the bolt side. So this thing is a lock nut. So you need to pass the get it so that way it passes the lock nut portion, and it could could spin freely, right? In here, spin freely. So once I have that, I have my little jack over here. I'm gonna lift the jack up so that way the wheel is lifted off the ground. All right. That's all I need, is just a tiny bit off the ground. I have what, maybe a 1/4 inch or something like that off the ground. That's fine. That should be more than enough. Pick up the nut off the other side, and pull the axle out. So what I do is I actually kind of lift the tire a little bit. It takes weight off the nut. If you just leave everything alone, you pull the nut, the weight's gonna be on the the axle, and it's gonna be hard to come out. So you lift it up a little bit, it comes out really smooth, real easy. Okay, get that off. Let's see, do I need to clear anything? Nope, it looks like everything is clear. So I should be able to just slide this thing straight out. There is the wheel spacer on both sides, so keep that in mind. And the chances are they're also most likely they're different size or different thickness. Well, actually, this one looks, they look the same. Eyeballing it, they look the same, but you won't know unless you have use some calipers. So to not confuse the two, I'm gonna set them aside, one on each side. When I set them down, so that way I know the left side from the right side. That side over here, that side over here. Okay, and that's it. That's how you take off the front wheel. Real easy peasy. So that's removing the front wheel. Okay. All right, so I've got my tire mounted. I'm gonna put my wheel back into the bike. See, I actually pumped up the tires and everything already. So let me put the valve cap on here before I forget about it. Okay. So since I took the wheel off, I didn't touch anything on the bike. Double check your brake pads. Make sure that they're open. That no one squeezed them or nothing like that. And when you feed this in, because of the calipers is in the way, you have to kind of feed it in diagonally like so. Then once the tire and rim clears the caliper, then you can straighten it out. My knob is hitting the top of my fender up here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I need to raise the bike just a little bit. Oh shit! Oops, it teeter-tottered. That's all right. Okay, now I'm clear. So remember my spacers. I set them aside, one on the left side and one on the right side. So I'm grabbing them right now. So that's my right side, my left side, like so. Put the spacer back on. This side, on this side. Okay, spacers on. Now I could basically feed the rotor in between the brake pads. So do it real evenly. And double check your spacers, make sure that they didn't get knocked out of the way. I'm gonna get my axle and feed it just right here on the first fork only. With it flush on right here, it's flush, so that way it's not sticking out. Alright. Now I'm gonna lift the wheel up a little bit. Oh, come on, the spacer's out of whack again. Right here. Actually, let me drop the bike a little bit, so I don't have to lift it up as much. I don't have to lift the bike up as much. Less effort on my part, right? Okay, so again, mind the rotor. Make sure you feed the rotor into the caliper or in between the brake pads. Oops. So you see the spacer got cockeyed right there. Bring it back out, straighten it up. Make sure both sides are straight. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my thumbs on both sides like so to keep them in, and my fingers around the bottom of the fork, so I can just basically guide it into the where it's supposed to be. Let me drop my back down a little bit more. Okay, so guide it in like so. Now slide that in. Both sides are centered. Now I can slide it all the way in basically. Alright, so I'm good there. Put my nut back on. And the torque on this, I don't know what the torque is. I think it's about 40 foot-pounds or maybe 45 foot-pounds, somewhere in that range. I'm just gonna do it by feel. I usually do this by feel, and that's good enough for me. 14 millimeter on this side. Hold this side. You don't want to spin the bolt side. You want to spin the nut side. Okay. Spin the nut side. Okay. Find them out. Put it so. Actually, take the jack off so that way the weight is pushing down on the on the tire. A little bit more stable this way when I tighten it down. So, okay, I think that's tight enough. Tight enough for me. All right, so there's the new nubbies. Man, this is a 3-inch. So this is a 3-inch tire here. And let's look at the spacing here. Look at that. It's very small, very tight spacing right there. It's like between the fender right there and the tire. That's about, I would say that's just under a quarter of an inch, or right around a quarter of an inch. So actually, I didn't look at the previous spacing. I should have double checked this, before I took it off. I should check the clearance. Up in here, I have about half an inch. So I have my, my finger could fit in there. So that's about half an inch up in here. So that should be okay. Let's see. Same thing with all in here. So my finger could fit in there. The tightest spot is where the tire and the fender is. It's just, I think it's about a quarter inch or just under the quarter inch of space. So a 3-inch does fit. So I don't think this will fit a 3.5. I was considering a 3.5 when I ordered this 3-inch, but I was like, oh, I'm not sure. Might be pushing my luck. So I'm glad I got the 3-inch and not the 3.5, because there's no way the 3.5 would have fit right here. I think the 3.5 might have touched right here. Well, at least you wouldn't have space for mud and such. Right? Yeah. So I think that's enough space. I mean, if it's like really bad mud, this is not enough space. This is too tight. But this is not this bike is not meant for like crazy mud or nothing like that. It's just light. It's a light off-road. You use it for light off-roading, it's fine, but not heavy off-roading. All right, so that's the wheel back on and how it fits. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.